Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fate Grand Order video. Took a small little break there, but I'm back just in time for the upcoming Valentine's Day event. Like, literally, it's going to be happening later today, depending on when you watch this video. It could even be already out by the time you see this. But that's going to be today's video. I hope you like it. If you do, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you're looking forward to the most, whether it's the brand new unit, or maybe you're just looking forward to seeing some Valentine's Day scenes. And let's begin, shall we? So yes, the Valentine's Day event. It's going to be happening for us on likely the 3rd, because we're going to be going into maintenance, and what usually happens is that when we exit maintenance, it will be... the event should be up already, unless they plan to not do it that way for whatever reason, but considering it's early February, I think it's pretty likely. So it starts the 3rd, but for me, it starts on the 4th because when we exit maintenance is actually already the next day for me. So it might be a little bit wonky with time stuff, but it should be happening relatively soon. If it's not happening soon, then don't I look silly? It's happened a couple of times, but I'm pretty sure that's when it's happening. Anyway, it should last about 3 weeks, so it should end sometime around the 24th. Is similar to the way that JP had. As you can see, JP had it from the 14th to the 6th, and yeah, that makes about as much sense. Now, in terms of the event itself, it's pretty simple. It's a points ladder. It's what we always have every single Valentine's Day. You try and get as much points rewards to get chocolates or return gifts from your various servants, and then you get to experience a little scene with them and them giving it to you, and they're fully voiced. And that's the basicness of it. There's nothing like too crazy to do. You just kind of do the main quest, get in, get out. It's not too difficult. In terms of who's going to be having some event bonuses in it, we got Andromeda, who will have 100% damage bonus and a 50% bond bonus. And then we go to the lower ones here, which are all the old Valentine's Day units, and Columbus. They get 50% damage and 20% bond. Those units are Bride Nero, Say, Columbus, Murasaki Shikabu, Semiramis, Mysterious Heroine X, Alter, Karen, Pope Joan, and Bazette. And then the only units that's getting 50% damage bonus and 5% to all other party members in terms of bond is, of course, MASH. The event CE for the event is a reward for your studies. It is gives 8% to arts, 15% damage against evil alignment enemies, and then 30% starting NP. And then it also gives, for this event specifically, 30% to Choco Rock points. When it's max limit break, it goes to 60, but at the base form, it's 30%. And then similar, when you max limit these, it goes from starting NP 30% to 50%. The arts performance up goes from 8% to 10%, and the evil alignment damage goes from 15% to 20%. The event command codes are Mirage on the Sea of Sands. This is the 5-star. It gives 10% NP damage for 1 turn, and then critical damage plus 10% on that engraved card. The 4-star event command code is the Santa Maria Volante. Gain 2 crit stars when attacking. When attacking with the engraved card, remove 1 critical rate up buff from target. And then the 3-star is the Thunder Wielding Pegasus. 25% increased star gain for engraved card. Gain 1 crit star when attacking. And then we go over here to the event shop. You see how easy it is? We're already at the event shop this early on. Inside the event shop, the gold material is the fondue strawberry, and if you want to get everything with fondue strawberries, you're going to need 4,130 of them. And inside the event shop form, you get 2 event CEs, 1 lore, an HP gold info, and an attack 1. 40 stacks of 10 evocation leaves. So buying this once gives you 10 evocation leaves, and you can buy it 40 times to get a total of 400. Yeah, that makes sense. That's math. And then we have a code remover, 10 cursed beast colossus, 10 comet shards, 20 bloodstone tears, 20 ether photon convergers, and then 20 golden statues of archer, rider, and assassin. And then at the end of it all, when you have you've bought everything in the shop, you can exchange your strawberries, 2 of them at a time, for 10k QP. And then we have fondue marshmallows, which is the silver material. You'll need 3,730 of them to get everything. And then inside of the event shop is 1 event CE, 1 lore, 1 HP golden foe, 30 stacks of 10 evocation leaves, 1 code remover, 20 dawnlight reactor cores, 20 phoenix feathers, 20 aurora steels, 30 ashes, and then 20 silver statues for archers, riders, and assassins. And once you finished up everything here, you can exchange them for strawberries. You can go 10 to 1. So for every 10 marshmallows, you get 1 strawberry. And then we have the fondue biscuit, which is the bronze material. You'll need 4,280 of them to clean up everything in the shop. And inside the shop is 1 event C, 1 HP golden foe, 30 stacks of 10 evocation leaves, 1 code remover, 20 silver foe for HP and attack, 55 EXP, 104 EXP, 100 silver EXP, 20 twin crystals, 30 fangs, 30 stingers, and 30 magical fluids. And then you can exchange these for marshmallows once you've cleaned up everything here. Again, for every 10 you get 1. So for every 10 fondue biscuits you get 1 single marshmallow, and so on and so forth. Inside the points rewards, which is what the main thing you're going to be kind of be grinding for, there's a whole buttload of stuff, including the chocolate stuff. So if you've never done one of these before, I guess I can explain to you what does the chocolate stuff actually do. You give these to servants. These are surprise chocolates though. The lock-on ones is the ones you use to give to one specific unit if you really badly want to get their Valentine's Day chocolate or their return gift, whether you're going for male, female, or unknown, whichever one it may be. And if you want to get a specific one, you use a lock-on chocolate. If you don't care if it's which one it is, then you use the surprise one. I guess it's not so much you don't care which one. You get a lot of these surprise ones, so you kind of just roll the gotcha and hope you get your new ones. It can be kind of annoying if you got a buttload of servants that you've already seen their events for. That much is true at the very least. But anyway, inside this points rewards, there's a whole boatload of stuff, including the chocolates, there's apples, stuff like that. And there's also tickets, and the tickets, you get them at 102.5k points, 300k points, which is on the next one here, 300k points. Then again, the next one is at 600k, 900k, and then the final one is over here at 1.5 million, and then you'll get every single ticket that is available to you. And then you can maybe stop, no, unless you want to get everything. I don't know. I was gonna say after you get all the tickets, you can be like, oh, I can stop heavy grinding it, but 1.5 million points is still a pretty damn heavy grind, and you may as well finish it off. You're about halfway there, since the final stopping point is 3 million. You can reach it from there. But yeah, that's the main conceit of the event. Again, not very hard or not very tough. It just is a lot of scenes if you're not reading them. I will say though, I usually run out of chocolates because I only really need them for my new servants. You can, with the excess CEs that you get from the old ones, you can sell them and you can do all that kind of stuff with them. I don't do it for 2 reasons. One of them is sentimental reasons. I like keeping my original copy. And the other reason is because I'm too lazy. That's another reason why. But you know, I have my own personal qualms about not being able to let go of a gift that was given to me, including to a virtual character. But let's move on, shall we? So the main quests. On the first day, the prologue and Act 1 will open up, and then on the first one of the prologue, you'll get the 3-star event CE as well. And then from there, they kind of open up one a day. If this opens up on when I think it is, we should get the last of them on the 9th. By then, we should have everything. And it's very simple. All you need to do is make sure you have at least started a single event-free quest, and then you get points based off of them. I'm not showing the specifics of them just because in case you care about the spoilers of who you're fighting in it, but I can at least show you the first one that you see you need here at least 25k to get to the next Act 2. And to finish it all, you'll need about 500k points at the very least. So make sure you get that much before you finish it off. And then after you clear the epilogue, the 2 final free quests will open up, and that will make it for much more effective grinding. So as long as you get to around 500k points, you're good. And then from that point, kind of chill, wait for the epilogue, do the epilogue, and then you'll be opened up to the final two, and that's when you can really start grinding. And then in terms of Saint Quartz that you'll get a total of 7 Saint Quartz from all the acts. So 7 Saint Quartz and 5 tickets is what you get as far as given material here. And then for the free quests themselves, I won't go over every single one of them, but I will at least look at the last 2 that open up after epilogue. The first one is Swordsmith. This one's fairly straightforward. It's a node that has 2 sabers on the first wave. The second wave is also 2 sabers, and then the third wave it's another saber. And this one has about 200,000 HP, and it's a saber, obviously. And it will drop all the materials that you see below. So it'll give you all the event C ones. It will give you the Choco Rock points and so on and so forth. I should also mention, if you're someone, I guess, who only really cares about the points, this one, which is the one before it, is 3,000 miles. It only gives the Choco Rock points, and then it's also extremely easy to grind as well. So if you're a newer player and you're like, I really don't want to bother with anything else here, you can probably just do this one once you finish up cleaning the shops. And even then, the lesser ones you can kind of get, like, go to them for the very specific one. Like this one will have a increased drop for the fondue strawberries. The one before that one is the marshmallows, and then the one before that one is the fondue biscuit ones. And you can use those if you want to try and grind them the old-fashioned way and not just wait for the epilogue and do it that way. It all depends on what kind of player you are. If you're an older player, obviously all you look at is the epilogue, but if you're a newer player, there's nothing wrong with going to the easier ones to kind of do them that way. But anyway, that's Swordsmith. And then the actual final one, which is the best grind node, I'm pretty sure, is Torture Session, which I think is a very good naming for which the final one in these are. And the node itself is very funky. On wave 1, it's a caster. On wave 2, it's 3 casters. And then on the final wave, it is 1 big-ass caster and a tiny caster to help back them up as well. And these will drop everything that you see here. It drops the strawberries, the marshmallows, the biscuits, the points, and then it also has comet shard drops, twilight ceremonial blades, caster gems, and caster statues. I should say for the previous one, one of the main drops from there are the saber statue, the saber golden statue, the saber gems, and spirit root and scales of Fantasia. I should also mention there is no blue gem. I said the gems as if all 3 of them. No, it's only 2 of them. But anyway, if you can do this is going to be kind of very dependent on your box. I did see that someone already put up on the Reddit. Someone compiles them together and usually says, like, here's some teams that we've seen done in the past. It was Toku Hero. I have a link in the description box so you can just kind of click if you want to have some sample ideas if you have no idea how to do it. So I suggest checking it out. I still am kind of trying to figure out I'm going to actually do this one myself. I have pretty good riders, and so it's probably a very simple case for me. Plus, I also have to see if I get Andromeda. I bet, obviously, with the damage bonus, you can probably take this down with Andromeda, but you can never know with some quick rider dudes. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue on. So, obviously, there's also going to be a challenge quest, and to unlock it, you have to have cleared up the Epilogue and Solomon. If you haven't cleared both of them, then they won't show up. And in terms of what you do in the fight, I don't want to talk about it because in case someone wants to specifically do the challenge quest blind, then they can do so. And in theory, I would also like to do these blind with my brother if I ever remember. I think I've said that about 5 times in the past videos, but I swear this one I'm gonna remember. This one I'm gonna remember, I swear to you. And then finally we reached the banner, which there's a banner that features Andromeda, and then there's other raid up servants as well that will kind of they'll start 2 days after. So if this event is on the 3rd/4th, that means you could expect them to start sometime in the 5th. I'm only going to be talking about Andromeda today, and then also looking over the CEs as well as I go down a little bit further and kind of see them here. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm not going to be going over every single one of these because I think for the most part, the people who would summon on these already know that they're going to summon on these, and if you haven't thought about it, then you shouldn't summon on these. Like for me, example, when I see Quets, I usually go, I should go for Quets. These are what the banners are for, and if you're not that kind of person, then you don't need to go on here. If you do want to see, like, I think what would likely be a 2-hour-long video where I go over every single one of these, let me know, but please don't. I don't think it's needed. But Andromeda, she's going to be here. The way that the unit breakdown will be is that it will be Andromeda, and then 2 days later, it'll be Semiramis. And then after Semiramis, 2 days later, it will be Maeve and the Lion King. And then the day after that, it's going to be Quetz and Setonia. And then the day after that, it is going to be Orion / Artemis and also Song Zong. And then the day after that, it's going to be Europa and Sherazade. And then the day after that, it's Drake and Tamamo. And the day after that, it's Altera and Daiskiri. The day after that, it's Bradamante and Anastasia. And the day after that, it's Jack and Mordred. And then the day after that, it is Kashin Koji and Naito Chris Alter. And then the day after that is going to be Galatea and regular ruler Zhang. And then the day after that, it's going to be Ahsoka Bihime and Janako. And then the day after that, it's going to be Nightingale and Saber. And then finally, the day after that will be Vitra coming back from her previous banner going. And then all of them will have the following craft essence to them, which is going to be Milky Way, Choco Rafting, and Sweet Flower, which I'll go over them right now. Milky Way with some amazing Naito Chris Alter art. It's the 5-star. It has NP 4% per turn, NP rate is 10%, and NP overcharge of 2 for one time. And these drop strawberries. Choco Rafting is the one that features Drake. It gives 10 crit stars on entry, Buster 3%, and MP damage 10%, and obviously increases strawberry drops. And then we have Sweet Flower, which features Kid Medusa over here, which gives NP, what do they call Kid Medusa? All right, after doing a quick look, it is still Medusa. I got confused because her name changes when she becomes Gorgon, but not when she's still little. You never know sometimes with some Fate ones, but the mind goes. But anyway, this CE gives NP 1% per turn, and then damage cut minus 100. And then, of course, also gives you some more biscuit drops. And it features a very nice little one of Kid Medusa over here. And those are the CEs. In terms of whether or not you should go for them, I think if you're summoning for Valentine's Day ones, you should be happy to get them. There's some really nice art on them. And in terms of their effect, I don't really know if I would ever use them for their effect unless I was in a very niche scenario where I could use them. But I like having them because the art is really nice. So I'll be happy to hopefully get them when I attempt to go for Andromeda, because I am going to be doing a banner on Andromeda. So if I fail to get her in my 3 multis, if I can at least get the Drake one or Naito Chris Alter, I'll be pretty happy about that. And now, let us talk about Andromeda. So Andromeda, she's limited. She's a rider. She has 2 quick, 2 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. And her active skills are Daughter of Cassiopeia. I'm gonna go with that. Some of these names I fuck up all the time. It's my tour de force. Anything. That's not how you use that phrase. Gain critical stars. Gain critical stars every turn for 3 turns. Reduces own damage taken for 3 turns. Then charges your own NP gauge. 15 stars. 15-star regen. Damage taken is lowered by 1,000. And the NP up is 30% on a cooldown of 6. Her second skill is the Sacrificial Maiden A. 500% chance to draw attention to all enemies to self by 300% for 3 turns. Grants self a gut status for 1 time, 3 turns. Grants self a buff on defense buff for 3 turns. When taking attack, charges on NP gauge. Increases own crit damage by 10% for 3 turns. And then revives with 3000 HP. And the NP up is 10% whenever you're getting hit. And this is on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is Nereidus, Chain of the Divine Oracle. Increases own quick performance for 3 turns, increases own arts performance for 3 turns, and then increases own NP damage for 3 turns. That's 30% to quick, 30% to arts, 30% to NP damage, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Passive skills are Riding A, Magic Resistance C, Desire for Hero C, grant self an on Guts activated buff, increases own attack by 10% for 3 turns when Gut status is activated. Skillful Swimmer B, charges own NP gauge by 5% every turn on the waterside battlefield. Her third append skill is an anti-berserker attack damage aptitude, and her noble phantasm is, oh god, Aethiopis. There's no way this is called Aethiopis. Aethiopis Ketos. The Cetus Aethiopis that slumbers in that ocean. Rank C, a noble phantasm. It's anti-army. It's quick. It hits 6 times. Deal damage to all enemies, seal their skills for 1 turn, and then increase your own defense by 50% for a single turn. And then the damage you do is 600% at MP level 1, and if you get it all the way to MP level 5, it's 1000. And then our overcharge effect is a reduce all enemies' defense for 3 turns, activates first. At charge level 1, it's 20% lowering on defense, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 40%. Her bond CE is the Chain of the Divine Oracle, which increases own NP damage by 30%, and then grants self gut status for 1 time, revives with 20% HP, stackable with other guts, which is pretty nice. And that is Andromeda. So, how is Andromeda? Well, the first thing that is kind of obvious is that she has a very funky skill too. Her second skill obviously wants her to kind of take in damage. And when you get damage, you charge your own NP gauge, and then you also increase your crit damage. That's all well and good, except for she's an AoEer, so that means that this second skill is completely useless if you try and use her for looping things. And when it comes to quit, for any other, if she was any other type, if she was arts, if she was Buster, I wouldn't have that big of a deal with it. But with Quick, you kind of need all your skills to kind of really be pumping your looping ability. If not, then it might end up being a little bit awkward to actually use her as a looper as such. That's what I'm kind of afraid of. If you have a little bit more experience with Andromeda, you can tell me how you feel about her looping ability itself. I assume that she should still be able to do it because 6 hits is pretty nice, and she did still got like a 30% charger, but she doesn't really have NP gain, so that kind of makes me a little bit worried. Feel free to let me know, but it kind of makes me a little bit worried. But it does mean that you can use her in any kind of challenge quest, because I think that's probably where they would like you to use her. Because that's where taunters are the most effective, when you're able to kind of aggro it all to one person for a little bit and kind of go with that. I will say, though, in terms of the aggro bit, it's a little bit weird with Andromeda, because if you're fighting something, let's assume that you are with 2 quick supports. I guess if you're with Caster Scotty, it's a little bit different. You can protect Caster Scotty, but Ruler Scotty doesn't really need all that much protecting because she is a ruler. So she's going to also not be taking very much damage for most things, unless you're fighting a Berserker, but then a Berserker is also going to be hurting Andromeda. So I think it makes it a little bit awkward in some kind of cases, but it is nice because when you do activate this, it is getting a lot of charging of NP. And if you're fighting a buttload of dudes, like let's say you're in a challenge quest where you're like fight 7 dudes, fight like 12 people at the same time, so you use your AoE, you hit all of them, and then all 6 of them go to attack Andromeda, you're kind of getting buff from that, and I think that's pretty nice. Again, a very niche scenario, but I am finding a scenario for her. The Noble Phantasm is also pretty nice because if you're fighting someone continuously, that reduction of defense will stack up. So you'll just keep lowering their defense by 20% as long as this keeps hitting, which is pretty good. And then also being able to increase your own defense is also pretty nice by 50% for 1 turn. So that makes it so even if you are in a scenario where you're fighting against a Berserker, you have that to kind of protect you. You have your first skill giving you a little bit even more reduction on your defense per turn. Again, I think that's all very neat and good stuff. It's just very hard for me to imagine this being like a thing that you won't be always finding one of those fights that will take full advantage of everything that she provides. But when you do, you'll be like, oh, this is so great. She makes this much better in my mind. But how often that comes up, maybe never as much as you would hope. And so my basic rundown for Andromeda is that I think she's pretty okay. I think you can find some good use for her. Her art itself is the reason I'm summoning for her. Although if any of the things I said kind of sounds like a deal breaker for you, then with considering how crazy this year is going to be, I think you should probably skip Andromeda. But I'm a big fan of the Ray Harryhausen Clash of the Titans and the story that provides within, and Andromeda is in that, and I'll be damned if I'm skipping Andromeda. I also really do like her design. I like her look. They snuck in, she's obvious she doesn't have the trait, but they totally snuck in a summer unit. This is insane to give her a second outfit ascension, and then she doesn't return to that. Then she turns into this in the next one. But it is really weird that on the second one she just full on got like a summer outfit, and it's also really good. So for various reasons, I would love to get Andromeda because of my fan. I'm a fan of the Clash of the Titans story, and also the story of that from within as well. I've read a lot of Greek books over the past. Not over the past, man. Actually, it is the past. If I actually think about it, when the fuck did I read those Greek books? It would have been back in middle school, which would have been shit over 20 years ago. I'm excited for Andromeda. And I'll be summoning, and there will be a video going up. I'm only going to be doing 3 multis because it is a very rough year. And I'm also very much, I don't need an AoE writer. I have plenty. It's not going to bother me too much if I don't get them. But it's going to be one of those ones where if I get to the end of the year, not the end of the year, to the middle point of the year, she maybe would be one of the ones I would pick on a selection thing just because I would like her. Even then, it might be a little bit tough because I also need more copies of Quetz. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. That's a problem for future Wookie. But anyway, that's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I did take a little bit of, I guess this is the end bit. Again, if you want to show support to the channel, you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I would have liked to have put this video out just maybe a couple days. I know one day is kind of really pushing it, which is funny if they don't actually release the event on the 4th. This video is going to look very silly, and I'm going to have to put in a little, like, noted comment saying, like, hopefully I was wrong on the start date, which has happened in the past. But yeah, I wanted to record it a little bit earlier to give it a couple more days, but my dad came home, and he's a trucker, so when he actually is able to come home for us, we like to make sure that he's nice and rested, and I don't like to record when he's here because I don't want to risk the potential of him waking up because he's a very hardworking man and he has a very different like sleep schedule compared to the rest of them. So I allow him to do all that. But anyway, the allow part makes me seem really conceited. But anyway, I'm overthinking this. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope your summons go well if you're summoning along with me, or if you're summoning for any of the Valentine's Day banners that are here for very many of them, or if you're continuing to save, I hope you continue to save. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Till next time, wish you all the best. Bye bye now. Bye.